Welcome to CAN, Caribbean Affiliate News. My name is Siobhan Gobin. Here are the stories that we're following today, August 19, 2013. From the Caribbean Airlines Limited to review fare structure. Call by St. Lucia political party echoes around the world. In Guyana, opposition members blast Education Ministry for poor CSEC results. And in Trinidad and Tobago, now Kublai Singh sets up camp in Debe. Details on these headlines and more when we return.
Million customers use Leica Mobile for affordable international mobile calls, connecting over 2.5 million mobile calls daily, helping our customers stay in touch with their loved ones, whether they be in Asia, Africa, Europe, or the rest of the world. Every 5 seconds, a new Leica Mobile customer joins our growing family, helping you to make affordable international calls across the world. Leica Mobile. Call the world for less.
Since we announced Sign and Drive with zero out-of-pocket and low monthly payments, cars been flying out of Bronx Honda at a record pace. Whoa! New Accord with zero out-of-pocket for $249 a month, or new Civics just $199 per month, or save thousands with 0% financing. You never had to leave the Bronx to get the best price on the Honda. Bronx Honda guarantees the lowest price in the Bronx. Bronx Honda, East Tremont Avenue. Visit BronxHonda.com.
Welcome back to CAN, Caribbean Affiliate News. My name is Siobhan Gobin. The segment of the news is sponsored by Emerald Travel. In Guyana, government officials recently met with executives from Caribbean Airlines Limited to address key issues such as customer service, security checks of Guyanese passengers at Piarco International Airport, and the airline's fare structure flag carrier status. Attending the meeting were Mohammed Irfan Ali, Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, Minister Robinson Ben, Minister of Public Works and Transport, private sector representatives from the THAG, GTA, CJIA, CEO Mr. Ramesh Gir. The Caribbean Airlines team from Trinidad, accompanied by Mr. Carl Stewart, airport manager, included Mr. Philip Marshall, chairman of the board, Mr. Jagmohan Singh, CEO, and Ms. Nalini Lala, corporate secretary. According to Minister Ali, this engagement is critical to combating the negative perceptions perpetuated against Caribbean Airlines. Given this fact, Minister Ali assured that the government and by extension the people of Guyana recognize the role that Caribbean Airlines has played in attempting to fill the gap in Guyana's airlift capacity. Ali impressed upon the need for both Caribbean Airlines and Government of Guyana to improve the partnership and to formulate a strategy that would define the way forward in the best interest of all stakeholders involved. Mr. Marshall assured that the people of Guyana are important to the heartbeat of Caribbean Airlines, and the fact that the delegation is meeting with the government and private sector representatives points to its willingness to forge new partnerships. In St. Lucia, in an event reminiscent of the Mouse That Roared, a 1955 Cold War satirical novel, a recent call by the leader of the Lucian People's Movement, Thirol Prudent, for medical parole of former Taiwanese President Chen Shui-bian has attracted media attention around the world. The fact that St. Lucia was poised to receive millions of additional dollars in aid from Taiwan was apparently least on the minds of journalists who traveled with current President Ma Ying-jeou on his visit to the island as part of a 12-day tour of Taiwan's diplomatic allies in the region. After all, Taiwan has given millions of dollars in aid to many countries that are willing to champion its efforts to gain acceptance into world bodies such as the United Nations. As the Boeing 747 China Airlines flight carrying Ma and his entourage touched down in St. Lucia, it was a familiar scene that had been reported from Haiti to Paraguay and will continue in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and later St. Kitts and Nevis. However, for most of the foreign journalists covering Ma's visit, some of whom are employed by Taiwan's Central News Agency, the news that caught their attention was Prudent's statement urging St. Lucians to advocate for the release of ailing former President Chen and focusing on human rights abuses in Taiwan. While some of St. Lucia's leading independent media houses carried the story, and many in the region followed it on Caribbean News Now, readers from around the world, including Taiwan and the Asian region, responded with comments on over 340 Facebook likes in support of the LPM's position on Taiwan's human rights record. By Saturday morning, reports filed from St. Lucia had already been published by the Taipei Times and other news portals throughout Taiwan and Asia. The journalists covering Ma's visit to St. Lucia found the LPM's perspective newsworthy enough to share with their readers back home. Ironically, there was very little focus on the joint communique signed by the St. Lucian government and President Ma. And I quote, "The lesson for us in Latin America and the Caribbean and St. Lucia is simple. Human rights matter in other parts of the world. As a region, we cannot continue to operate in a bubble with outstretched arms for foreign aid. We cannot continue to arm ourselves with the narrow-mindedness of local politics with all of its self-righteousness. And we cannot continue to ignore the personal sufferings of citizens locally and in distant lands who daily pay the ultimate price for our chronic dependence on foreign aid," the LPM said in a follow-up statement. In the news out of Guyana, if 7 out of 10 students cannot pass math, 6 out of 10 cannot pass English, and 4 out of 10 cannot pass with top grades, then we have a national disaster on our hands, said Dr. David Hines. Despite isolated outstanding performances at the recent Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate Examination, Guyanese students performed poorly, and there is a view that the administration is in large part to be blamed for this. Head of State Donna Ramuta this past week, while addressing the National Economic Forum, told stakeholders that the massive investments in education are paying off. Any analysis of the examination results, however, demonstrates a different picture. Mathematics in particular has recorded the lowest pass rate this year. In fact, the pass rate for this subject area has notably declined since 2010. Former Finance Minister, a Partnership for National Unities, Carl Greenidge, believes that the serving Minister of Education, Priya Manik-Chan, spends too much time on public relations work. According to Greenidge, the minister should leave the announcements and public reading of CSEC results to the professional staff of the ministry and concentrate on looking at how resources are allocated for the assistance of guiding policies to correct the inadequacies these results suggest. Greenidge posts, "There is something fundamentally wrong with the education system and current policies." While the causes of unsatisfactory performances, particularly in mathematics, are many, the shadow finance minister believes a misallocation of financial resources between primary and other levels of education is also to be blamed. He lambasted to the silly and pernicious misapplication of the policy of no child left behind and the noticeable lack of trained teachers. Greenidge said that the teaching profession needs attention with regard to salaries, incentives within the system. APNU's shadow minister with responsibility for education, Amna Ali, pointed out that while there is a variety of causes that have led to poor performances at this year's sitting of the CSEC examinations, she believes that the absence of skilled mathematics teachers is pivotal. In Trinidad and Tobago, leader of the Highway Reroute movement, Dr. Wayne Kubalal Singh, has set up camp in Debe and is ready to fight down to the wire to prevent any highway roadwork that comes along. And I quote, "We have a constitutional duty if we see bulldozers coming this way to protect ourselves because we believe this Debe to Mondisir highway is an atrocity," Kubalal Singh told reporters yesterday as community members busily constructed a tent in a lot of land on Gopi Trace. When asked specifically why the tent was being set up at that location, Kubalal Singh said it was to monitor the activities and to inform the residents about their rights in terms of the land acquisition. Kubalal Singh added the camp would also act as a prayer center. He said location was chosen because it was a point where road construction was expected to start. It's a corrupt mega project and we should defeat it and fight against it and fight down to the wire and stop it and abort it. Kublal Singh said the community had a right to stand up and defend its land, road and water systems, businesses, churches and temples. All the proponents of this highway, we mean to scatter them as they mean to scatter us. He said the matter was in the court's hands, but it was up to the Prime Minister to abide by the decision. And I quote, "We have appealed to the law and we have appealed to the experts." After a 21-day hunger strike last year outside Prime Minister Kamla Persad Bissasa's office, Kublal Singh's group was promised that an independent review would be conducted, headed by Independent Senator Dr. James Armstrong. The result of that review was a report which showed negative effects of the construction of the Debe to Mondisir section of the Solomon Hochoy Highway extension to Point Fortin, which is estimated to cost $7.2 billion. Kublal Singh said the Armstrong report stated that there should be no work between Debe and Mondisir, which included the Debe to Penal section he planned to occupy. Kublal Singh said he had two questions for the Prime Minister. Are you going to abide by the Armstrong report, and are you going to await the decision of the court before you do any work between Debe and Mondisir? He addressed the government directly, saying go and build the San Fernando to Point Fortin highway. That's the highway that people want. Minister of Housing Rudal Munilal said Kublal Singh was free to set up wherever he wanted and to advocate whatever he wanted. Last Friday, Munilal told reporters the construction of the Debe to Mondisir leg of the San Fernando to Point Fortin highway will not be stopped, despite Kublal Singh's continued protests outside the Prime Minister's office. You're watching Caribbean Affiliate News. We will be right back.
Since we announced Sign and Drive with zero out of pocket and low monthly payments, cars been flying out of Bronx Honda at a record pace. Whoa! New Accord with zero out of pocket for $249 a month, or new Civics just $199 per month, or save thousands with 0% financing. You never had to leave the Bronx to get the best price on the Honda. Bronx Honda guarantees the lowest price in the Bronx. Bronx Honda, East Tremont Avenue. Visit BronxHonda.com.
5 million customers use Leica Mobile for affordable international mobile calls, connecting over 2.5 million mobile calls daily, helping our customers stay in touch with their loved ones, whether they be in Asia, Africa, Europe, or the rest of the world. Every 5 seconds, a new Leica Mobile customer joins our growing family, helping you to make affordable international calls across the world. Leica Mobile. Call the world for less.
Hey, excuse me, if you see me smiling, that's 'cause I'm chilling on Total Caribbean Network. It's your boy Wyclef Jean, man, and I'm chillin', man. Total Caribbean Network. Man, I love their style. Whoa, 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 whoa.